Brain, body, bike. What could you do to brain, body, bike to improve your next results, whether that's just training right now or that's actual races? Hey race fan, Brian Davis races, and you can too. All right, now if you watched my last video, that was race number 2 in a series of 4 fat bike races. And I didn't do that great. Now, there's a couple factors at play there. The number one factor I had was the through axle on my fat bike was not tightened down enough, so my shifting was horrific during the race. So every 4 seconds, the bike was shifting on its own, and it was super, super mentally taxing and frustrating, and then that affected my ability to output watts, that affected my ability to mentally deal with the race, it affected my ability, even in the voiceover, I was still sort of bitter about it, as you all pointed out in the comment. I didn't necessarily realize that I was kind of harboring some negativity about the race until I rewatched the video, until I read some of your comments, and then it hit me. I am. So I gotta get over that. What I learned is I'm gonna break down that performance in 3 areas. My brain, my body, and my bike/equipment. Build on the things I did right, reduce the things I did wrong, and hope for a better performance next time. So the brain situation for that race was, I felt good going into it. Physically and things were working pretty well for me. I thought going into the race, my ramp tests, my trainer road process was on the upswing, my weight was on the downswing, so I felt good about those things. And where I think I got off the rails was prior to the race, I just wasn't feeling super motivated to go race, and I think I can pin it back to one particular thing. So when we started the first race, in the first 5 minutes, I lost that lead group. I just sort of fell apart. My huffing and puffing was alarming at how out of breath I was and how hard I was working to keep any sort of contact with the lead group. And then I just sort of gave up. It's not quite the right word. I sort of just quit chasing as hard as I probably can because I just didn't want to work that hard. so that's what I got to fix. But then the second race, we had a really nice, easy start. So I'm going to go into this third race thinking we're probably going to have a hard start again. I'm going to embrace the first 10 minutes of the race being very difficult, and then after 10 minutes, I can reassess where I'm at. So this is interesting because it's the same thing in crit racing. In the first 10 to 12 minutes of a crit race, it's pretty brutal. And then the pack sort of slows down. We have at least a half a lap of okay, what are you doing? What are we doing? And then we're back on again. But it's a really important mental break at that 10 to 12 minute break to kind of just recalibrate where you're at for the day, figure out where you're gonna go, who looks strong, where the breaks might be happening. To apply that going into race number 3. I'm going to expect to work my absolute butt off for 10 to 12 minutes, and then I'm going to have a good session of relaxation. No matter where I'm at, no matter who I'm with, no matter what's going on in the race, I'm going to take at least 1 minute to recalibrate and then chase or not chase or whatever I plan on doing. Brain category, 10 to 12 minutes working hard, and then have a lot of fun. Okay, so that's the brain. Now, let's talk about the bike, because I made some changes. All right, let's talk about the bike. Now, immediately after the race, I went and saw my bike shop mechanic friend, and I asked him to just make the thing right. So we did that, and that's where we quickly discovered the through axle was my main problem. But after that, you just look at the bike, the jockey wheel is moving quite a bit, the drivetrain is filthy, I got maybe a little bit of an outdated drivetrain. So we updated a bunch of that stuff. So now we've just installed the new GX rear derailleur from SRAM, a new GX shifter that's going to give me 12 speed. It's going to give me a greater range on the back to move to the Eagle. We have a new chain to match the 12 speed. And then I had a few studs left over from when I installed the studs on these tires, and I put those in. What was anything that bothered me throughout that day, and what can we do to fix it? So one of the things that bothered me was racing with my helmet and my sunglasses, those new 100% sunglasses I got. They were a little foggy and a little frustrating, so I am moving to goggles for the next race. Well, I should say that. First, I'm going to try it in training and see how I like it, and then I'll probably move to goggles on the next race. The other thing I struggled with was I constantly struggle with what I'm gonna wear, and that just needs to stop, right? Like, I bring so many clothes to these races, and I'm still gonna bring a lot of clothes, but my plan is to copy what everyone else is doing, and almost everyone else I'm racing with is wearing a thermal jersey with a wind vest. So I'm gonna put on a base layer, a thermal jersey, a wind vest, and tights, and that's what I'm gonna ride in. What I didn't do at race number 2, where I had a rough day, was I didn't fill that up with enough carbs. I should have just kept loading that thing up until it was totally full. I ran out of carbs throughout before the end of the race, and that was frustrating to me because I'm really focused on carbs. So okay, that's the bike / equipment. Now, what have I been doing to fix the body part, the fitness part of this? Let's talk about that. I've made some tweaks to my workouts, and I think it's gonna have a super positive effect. So let's talk about that briefly. One of the things I've noticed is that when I do my Trainer Road workouts, especially the long ones, just to review, I'm on the high volume plan on Trainer Road, which is somewhere between 9 to 11 hours a week of structured training. So when I do those longer rides, an hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours, I found, now that I started paying attention to things, like what little tweaks could I do to make things better? I would come down here with 2 bottles, and I would run out of a bottle, and I'd have to go fill it up. And that doesn't sound like much, right? But if you do that every single workout, that starts to add up. That's a few minutes where I'm running around getting water, I'm coming back, it takes a second for my legs to reacclimate to the trainer, and that adds up. So I've been really focused on trying to hit that Trainer Road graph correctly and executing it to the best of my ability. Part of the way I'm getting that done is continuing to fuel with massive amount of carbs during the workout and right before the workout, paying a little bit more attention to what I'm eating 3 hours before the workout. These are having big differences because my workouts are being much more intense than they were before, and I'm able to execute them so far at 100%, although I see some cracks in the armor. So that's my tip that I'm changing here, is to just bring 3 bottles to every workout. So 2 are gonna be filled with carbs like I've been doing, and then the third one is just water to get me through that last little bit. Another little tweak is to have extra carbs at the end of the workout with about 10 minutes to go, well, actually about 5 minutes to go, right at the beginning of the cool down. Then I'll ingest an extra half a bar or a half a banana or something like that. And what I've been finding with that is that will allow me to continue the off the bike work that I've been doing in secret after my Trainer Road workouts. So what that is are just some weights. So these are super lightweight 10 pounders, but what I've been doing with these is a bunch of split squats. I don't know what they're called, Bulgarian split squats or something, but you elevate one leg up and then you do the single leg squat ahead of you. I don't know what it's called, but I ordered a set of weights. Those show up Saturday, and I plan to implement a little bit more weights into my routine. Continuing to carb up correctly, continuing to execute the workout to the best of my ability and remain consistent, and then adding in weights and a little bit of core work. The thing I want to give you guys a little preview for is that one of the elite racers in our category, Dan, has volunteered to give us a little bit of insight as to what his pre-race routine is. After he watched my last video, he's like, dude, what are you doing? So he's gonna give us all a little bit of insight into how to get the bike ready, get your nutrition ready, just get much more consistent as you prepare for race days. Brain, body, bike, check, check, check. What could I do to improve each of those areas in the race that I just did, or the workout even that I just did? What could I do to improve on brain, body, bike? Thanks for watching the channel. I really appreciate you guys subscribing, commenting down below, really helps out. So looking forward to having a fun 2021 with you guys. So thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, all that jazz. Okay? Yeah, okay. Okay, bye.